hi guys, I'm Araf from Plaantik, and today we're sitting down with Cristiano, who's the CEO and co-founder of WhoScored.com. So we'll just be having like a one-on-one chit-chat with him right now. And a big thanks to Cookups for helping us with this. So how are you liking Dhaka so far?
It's been a new experience for me.
Yeah?
It's a very lively city. People going everywhere, up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
The traffic beeping, but people are really nice.
Okay.
I haven't had the chance to see the city, but it's definitely a really good experience for me.
There's a lot happening, right?
Yeah, it's just like I feel like there's more people on the streets and outside than inside.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like what got you into football and then ultimately co-founding a company about football?
Well, I'm half Italian, half Portuguese, so naturally my family was interested in football.
Right.
And I grew up playing football and I just had a passion for it. When I graduated high school, me and my friend, who's also the co-founder, well, he's Turkish, I'm Italian, so we kind of covered our leagues personally, but then we also liked the Premier League. And we had an interest in German and French leagues, so we thought, you know what, there's not a platform out there that combined a lot of leagues with a lot of information, because we also liked the occasional football bet. And for us to do that, we had to go through maybe 4 or 5 different sites to get news. One was a news site, the other one was a preview site, the other one was a stat site. So we basically saw a gap in the industry for one platform that combined everything.
But like, why statistics? What would you say got you into statistics in the first place?
I would say it was statistics that found us.
Right.
Because we were looking for the gaps always in the industry of football, media especially, and we knew a bit about statistics, especially going to an American high school, with American sports being heavily focused on them. So we were comfortable with that, and I think when we came out, especially in 2010, we actually got interviewed by ESPN. They were saying that we actually brought the stats revolution from the States into Europe with football.
I would say so as well.
So it was just basically a gap that we saw, and then once we got the data, we kind of chose how to display it, and I think how we displayed was friendly enough for the user to understand.
But there's one thing we often hear, like there's this saying, don't trust a football stat blindly. What do you have to say about that?
I totally agree with that. If you want a complete view of anything in life, you have to look from all angles. And in football, if you just look at the stats, they won't really quantify certain things. Like for example, a player that scores 5 goals, 2 of them score 5 goals, but one player scores 5 tap-ins and the other one scores 5 long shots. So, and it's just really, I think it's a supplement to your opinion. If there's a deadlock between a certain opinion with you and your friends, stats is a good way to kind of settle things.
But yeah, like you said, it doesn't always reflect if you played well or not. But like for example, like Javi Hernandez, for example, he's running the game, but he doesn't get the goals or the assists all the time, right? But he's the one contributing to the goals all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that, right? So from a football perspective, what are some of the real life implications of these stats for like football clubs and football communities?
I think they affect maybe 3 different aspects, and one is betting, and the other one is fantasy, and the third one is media. So for example, in betting, now there's different markets that have emerged to bet on that never appeared. Like for example, you can bet on total shots, you can bet on corners, you can bet on tackles, and you can also bet on the WhoScored player ratings. Actually, we have a market for the man of the match. So who you think will be the highest rated player, you can bet on that. For fantasy, it's also changed a lot. You have games that are going down to stats instead of just goals. and for the media, as you can understand, it creates a lot of content. But specifically football clubs, there's a lot of things happening. Stats creates a benchmark for clubs and players to kind of compare how they're doing.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe in the future there'll be some contracts that are based on stats as well.
True, yeah.
That will push players. And lastly, the obvious point for the clubs is opposition analysis and scouting.
Yeah, of course.
So without having to first look at any players in the videos or real life, you can already have a quick summary on stats to see what's interesting, and then you further that on with the actual scouting.
Okay, great. So why don't you run us through like the daily work without revealing the sensitive bits, the sensitive information? How does a big statistic company run, and what's like the process of getting these stats?
Well, we spent really good amount of time at the beginning setting up the whole system, so that we wouldn't have to have much human input. So this is just what you see on the website. Yeah. So we're talking about algorithms, stat leaderboards, match centers, so on and so forth. Currently, the daily life of our company is mainly content.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of writers.
Yeah.
We have expert preview writers for all our different leagues, and they basically upload the actual written content, but all the stats and database is received through a company called Opta.
Opta, right.
So Opta, just to explain, Opta have people watching all the games, and they send all the information as a raw format on a pitch, like coordinate points, and then we're the ones that display it and visualize it essentially.
So you get the information from them right away, right?
Yes. Okay. Just the raw data. Okay, so where a shot happens on the pitch and so on and so forth.
Okay, so how do you think football has changed since like public access to football statistics is being recorded?
The actual playing?
No, I mean like since everyone can like get access to these statistics, how do you think this has changed football as a whole?
Well, I think it's opened up a lot of new products.
Okay.
Like as mentioned, fantasy, betting, content. But it's also made life a lot easier for football clubs, for fans, and even in terms of fans discussing about football.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can grasp by watching a game.
True, true.
But you'll never know, for example, players that do the dirty work.
Yeah.
Like there's always this chat about Michael Carrick, who doesn't really look like a good player.
Yeah.
But when you look at the stats, you can see his contributions, and so I think it's just eye-opening.
True. So you're talking about like for the fans, right? You can see that of course social media has given fans a platform to voice their opinion on football, and there's always like a discussion or even like a debate going on social media. So how do you think this has impacted social media, as in how every fan like can get their stats now? How do you think this has affected social media?
I think it's affected it a lot. I think the only thing I would advise is you should look at the stats by yourself. Okay. Because there might be 8 stats going against a player that you like, and 2 that are, and you might just talk about those 2. Right. So it's just, but also I think a lot of clubs and players, they use stats on their social media platforms to promote themselves a lot. So it's a tool that can be used in a good way, but just do your own research and be thorough.
So WhoScored.com, from when it was founded, it has come a long way. What can we expect from you guys in 2019?
Yeah, we have come a long way. We've spent the last 2 years we finally stabilized a lot of things, and we're actually doing well from a business point of view and from a content point of view. Okay. So I think this will be the year that WhoScored steps up to the next level. Okay. I can't review anything right now, but just if you want to know, just follow our social media and website.
Okay, this has been great. Anything else you want to add, Cristiano?
Well, in terms of being in Bangladesh, it was nice to meet the people here. Also found out some interesting things about the football fans here. Okay. Just come to realize it's actually a very big market, and it would be nice if the world knew about it, because you have a lot of passionate fans here, and I think everyone in football as a fan should have a voice.
Okay, and so yeah, thank you, Cristiano, again for talking with us. This has been wonderful. Yeah, we hope that we can meet again and do this again. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.